San Antonio! Welcome to All Things San Antonio podcast with your favorite realtor and host, Brad Burns, along with your co-host.
And the actual favorite realtor, Ken Carter.
And we got our favorite roofer on here today, Dave Tagart, owner of A5 Roofing.
Yes, sir.
Dave, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am your favorite roofer's favorite roofer.
What's your origin story for San Antonio? Are you raised in San Antonio?
I was born and raised in San Antonio, man.
Awesome.
I grew up on the west side over in I can't remember the name of it, but far west side out by like Potranco in 1604. That was the first house we ever lived in. Then I remember moving over to like Ridgeview, so like Jones Maltzberger area. Lived over there for many years. I almost went to Nimitz Middle School, and we relocated to Florida for like 6 years, and then high school, moved back to Central Texas, and then found my way back to San Antonio. So all my family's here, so it was like a kind of the natural evolution of where I was going to go next. It was time for me to come back home. So
all roads lead back to San Antonio.
Yeah. Most people end up back home.
Yeah.
It's a great place. So do you married with children and the all of that?
Oh yeah, man! I got the whole all-American story. I'm married. We've got 3 beautiful kids. We bought our second house about 1.5 years ago, almost 2 years ago. We did move up to New Braunfels. That felt like it was a time to change, and we got out a little bit closer to the hill country, as most people kind of end up doing. You know,
It's kind of the natural progression. Everybody gets in downtown and then kind of spaces back out to the suburbs, hill country.
And if you have at the perfect world, you have a little bit of both. You have like an apartment kind of thing downtown, like at the Pearl and everything. Then you got 100 acres somewhere. You got to go back and forth.
Hey, I'm putting that on the goal list, man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Bounce back and forth. So what got you into roofing?
I got into roofing on accident. 100% honest with you. I was running a small construction company myself, doing a lot of fences and deck work, right? Up in the hill country, mostly in Canyon Lake. I was living in a double wide trailer, and it had been in my family for 30 years, and I wasn't really making a whole lot of money at the time. I didn't really understand business or how to like really grow or scale a company at all. And like most entrepreneurs, right, they have no idea what they're doing. They just kind of get into it. And I was very, very, very poor. And I was eating a can of peas and carrots for dinner one night, sitting on my kitchen floor. And a buddy of mine that owned a roofing company in Houston just kind of gave me some words of encouragement. And he told me that he felt like I had all the right skills, talents, and abilities to be successful in sales specifically, and had a lot of construction knowledge and experience. So he encouraged me to get into roofing sales, and I did. And I've been in it for quite a few years now. My whole life changed, and way better than what it was. We no longer live in a double wide trailer. You know what I mean?
And you got more than peas and corn, peas and carrots,
brother. I got way more than peas and carrots, and it's really funny to mention that, because there's a lot of people that follow me on social media and the podcast, and just different avenues. And sometimes when I talk about struggling and I talk about, going through hard times, somebody will comment on there and he'll be like, hey, life's a lot better than peas and carrots, isn't it? Because, a lot of people know that story. I've told that story before.
That's cool.
So, it's pretty cool. But life has definitely come much farther than peas and carrots, man.
It's funny because it always, and we talk about it all the time, it's like it really comes down to, like, especially in sales, like guys like us that are entrepreneurs at heart. Going to work for somebody else is just not really kind of written in the cards for us necessarily. It's like for whatever reason, but if you take action, if you just do something every single day that's going to propel you forward, you never go backwards. If you're always going forward, you're never going backwards. So you're starting like roofing sales. Like, were you door knocking? Like,
Yep. Straight door
Walk
to door.
Walk us through that. Tell us the story.
Okay, so it was 129,000 degrees in Texas that summer.
Like every summer.
We know you're starting off with the truth.
Yeah, 100%. I had close to no idea what I was doing. I understand roofing and construction because, like I said, prior to getting into sales, I was always the guy hanging drywall, laying tile, building decks and fences. Construction was easy to me. And like you were saying, I never saw myself working for somebody doing the 9 to 5 and do your time. I remember one time my mom told me, why can't you just go get a job, work 9 to 5, and if you're lucky, you'll get a 401k and come home and just live a quiet, simple life. And deep down inside of myself, I knew that that was never really for me. It's not what I wanted to do, right? I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to have purpose, and I wanted to have passion. I didn't just want to go punch a clock and do these things. What I realized was I was completely unemployable, right? And I was really kind of made for something different, and I felt that.
Yeah.
And roofing sales is what kind of gave me the opportunity to really practice discipline and accountability and the things that you were hinting at there a second ago, and put those things into play in my life. And it worked out for the better. But my first experience with door knocking, the guy I was working for sent me a couple of links to some YouTube videos and said, here, watch these. This is, a guy that's good in door-to-door sales, and go say what he says. And I'm like, okay, success leaves clues. Maybe, I'll just take the advice of the guy that gave it to me. So I go out and I go knock doors, and I had no idea where I was going. I just knew that my kids' daycare was close by, and there was a neighborhood with big houses in it. So I was going to start there. And I went and knocked on doors, and the first 5 people that I talked to just slammed the door in my face. They're like, no, go away. We're good. And the 6th guy, I went through the pitch, right? Hey, my name's this is what I'm doing, this is the value we offer, da-da-da-da-da. How long has it been since you had your roof inspected? And we started a conversation. And at the end of the conversation, the dude was like, okay, so if I pay my deductible $1,000, the insurance company will replace the rest of my roof, and they'll carry the bill. I said, yes, sir, that's how it works. And he was like, cool, go look. And I got on the roof, and I pulled out my phone, and I FaceTimed my buddy. And I was like, what am I looking for? somebody told me yes. What do I do next?
You forgot the next part, step 2. I didn't get that YouTube video.
I did not
I need another video fast.
That's right. I didn't get to watch that part of the video. And so we got a real hands-on education there. And it didn't really click to me how the insurance company works or what they look for until a week later that adjuster came out to do his inspection, and he could tell that I was young, eager, and I was willing to learn, and I was asking him questions. And he was like, young man, come over here. Let me show you something, right? And he started giving me the tricks and the game, right? And he was really teaching me what different types of damage that are covered by insurance, not covered by insurance, what these things look like. And again, I've always felt like if somebody's willing to give me time and experience, and they're willing to share their knowledge with me, I shouldn't let it go to waste. I should actually apply it.
100%.
Oh, bro, it's been a rocket ship ever since.
That's great.
Yeah.
So did you get that first sale?
I did. I did
Heck
this.
Yeah, 6 doors in?
I just
6
did
doors.
This, I did this dude's roof last year for the 2nd time.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, and that's funny because we talk about that in real estate all the time. It's creating that relationship with our clients, so that when they sell their house in 7 to 10 years, or their kids need to buy a house or everything.
That's right.
I've never heard of roofing getting those repeat customers. That's not something that you hear about.
Our tagline is fast roofing, long-term relationships.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How did you where did that customer service side of it come from?
Learning more about sales. It really came through my experience with companies that I would consider legacy brands, and looking at how, again, success leaves clues. So I look at the companies that I like, the companies that I want to do business with, and I start asking myself, what do all these people have in common? And one of the companies that I really love is First Form. They make supplements and nutrition stuff, vitamins, things like that, clothing and everything.
Andy and them, huh? Yeah.
I love Andy.
They're hardcore, man.
I owe Andy Frizella millions and millions of dollars, bro. Millions and millions of dollars. It was looking at the culture that they built and how they focused on relationships. The first time I ever ordered a set of products from First Form, on the back of the shipping list that had all the stuff that I was in there was a handwritten note from the guy that packed my box. And it was something simple, and it was just like, thank you for supporting our company. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. Here's my Instagram. Keep kicking butt, right? Do what you do, brother. We're here to support you. We love you. Love TJ. And I followed him on Instagram, and I sent him a picture of that thing, and we just had a conversation. And I didn't know this guy, and this guy didn't know me. He was just packing my box somewhere in St. Louis. And I was like, damn, that is the way that business works, right? Because you can sell a product or a service to somebody one time, but if you don't develop rapport and build a long-term relationship with them, they're never going to be your customer over and over again. So when we started our company, we founded everything that we do on our core values. And we built our core values to not only guide us in business and what we wanted to do and kind of shape the topography of what our company was going to look like, but we picked core values that we knew were also going to shape the relationship with our customer. And everything we do, we have to look back and we have to ask ourselves, does this align with excellence and integrity and service and legacy? Like, are all the things that we're doing in our business building that relationship and that core value so we can keep servicing customers over and over and over again? And, you know, because of that, I've got customers that I've roofed, again, 2, 3, 4 times. I've got a customer in Fort Worth that's got a $5 million house with, you know, slate tile on their roof, and they're every time they have Christmas lights that need to go up, they're calling A5, right? They have a light bulb that needs to be changed up in their backyard balcony on the second floor, they call us. If they have like a window screen that needs to be replaced or something, they call us. It's crazy. And the whole thing is we focus on building those long-term relationships because God forbid that house ever gets hit with hail.
Yeah.
I'm crossing my fingers because I'm hoping it does, baby. I'm hoping it does, right? It sucks for them. It's great for me. But I know without
Sucks
a
for
doubt.
The insurance.
Yeah. But I know without
well, that
a
1% deductible is still a lot on a.
That is like okay, different conversation.
Yeah.
But the biggest issue we're having in insurance restoration is people's 400,000 homes are worth 900,000 now.
Yes.
And their income didn't increase, but their cost of living went through the roof. Yeah. So that's again, very technical conversation, but
Yeah, my house, I have a $250,000, $300,000 house, and we got the insurance stuff back, and they're like, all right, replacement cost for something. I was like, man.
yeah.
It could be on the other side of it that we were building a duplex over off Walter, that area, and the insurance came back when they first brought it back. We had to renew the policy because of the construction, whatever, and they only put $50,000 on fire hazard. And we're like, we're 95% done. This is $325,000.
Yeah,
Like, what are you talking about? Like, I know what we just spent to build this thing, and it wasn't $50,000.
You'd be surprised how many homeowners don't understand this stuff about their insurance policies. Like they're walking around here with 5% deductibles on a $300,000 home, and I'm like, dude, your roof's only worth $20,000, and you're on the hook for $35,000 of it. Like that's insane. You know, you might as well just pay cash for it and not have insurance at that. You know, at that rate. But thank God we have laws in Texas that require homes with mortgage to have insurance. You know, it's a good thing. Like my house caught on fire in January, and I don't know when everything was all said and done, it was $197,000. And I have no idea what I would do or what kind of shape I would be in today if I was one of the people that just couldn't afford homeowners insurance. Like, nuts.
Yeah, that'd be wild. And I'll say, attesting to your customer service, we had that client, their north central side, y'all did like $400 worth of repairs.
Yeah.
And she had you on the phone like a few times for like 30, 45 minutes at a time. He probably spent 4 hours, 5 hours total on the phone with her for a $300 repair.
Just chit-chatting.
So you lost money on that deal.
Yeah. No,
I'm just kidding.
No.
Different time.
It'll come around. He lost money until the next hailstorm.
Oh, yeah. That's right. As soon as it rained more than an inch in an hour, I get the phone call. You know, people are, hey, can you come look at my roof again? Maybe this time there's some damage up there, insurance to pay for. I'm like, hey, if it's up there, I'll find it.
See, that's the beauty of San Antonio is like we don't get the tornadoes, but we get new roofs. We get the hail, so we get new roofs. So we don't have to deal with the tornadoes that Dallas and all of that area.
Yeah, that's right.
But we're definitely going to get new roofs for it. Nobody pays full price for roofs in San Antonio.
In Texas, by and large, right? We have the largest storm restoration market in the United States. Annually, storm restoration does over $400 billion in damage to properties.
Wow.
Same reason why companies like State Farm are pulling out of Florida and California. The cost of building materials and labor is sky high. It's through the roof, and they're bleeding left and right. You know, these companies are bleeding left and right. And I understand that companies have to operate for a profit, and they don't want to lose profits. God knows I don't want to lose money, right? Mm-hmm. As a business owner, this is how I pay my mortgage and feed my kids. I don't want that to happen to me. But the difficult thing to understand, I guess, for a lot of people to kind of come to Jesus with in that scenario is you can't be mad at the insurance company for wanting to try and make a profit by not paying you what they owe you. That's literally their entire business model. It's like Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
We're going to sell 1,000 gym memberships to it in a gym that we know can only hold 200 people at a time. And we're going to charge you $15, $20 a month and hope that you never come use it.
Because they'll get the 50 people that actually come.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They'll get them. And that's all the wear and tear that they get on their equipment is 50 people a month, you know?
Keeps them nice and fresh.
Yeah.
As long as you can
That's why
avoid,
the
as
paint
long,
always
as long
looks
as you can
good.
also you avoid the homeless taking their daily shower in the Planet Fitness too. 'Cause
I never saw that. Of course, I don't go to Planet Fitness.
I've seen videos and stuff where
Yeah.
like it gets like, because it's only like $15 a month and everything. There's like
Sure.
a lot of homeless that will be members just to use it for.
Dude, you talk about resilient. There you go.
Hey,
I'm not mad at them.
Nah.
I do.
I've seen people that do like the van life or they're living in the cars, how they do that, and they'll have the gym membership.
and they'll have
on their shower.
they'll have a Planet Fitness nationwide kind of thing, so they can use it and stuff like that.
Problem solving.
You know, it's just
Perfect.
it's just a shower place.
Yeah.
It's like me and my uncle went on a week-long venture in Colorado.
Yeah.
When I was younger, hiking and all the stuff, and we didn't shower for a few days.
Right.
And I know I paid $3. I remember paying $3 at this RV resort to use their shower. God, it was the best shower in my life.
It's amazing.
It's funny 'cause like when you're out and about and like you're in the wilderness and everything, you don't feel it and everything, and all of a sudden then you like clean off. And it's like,
I spent.
well, it's being on the
6
roof
years-
all day.
Well,
It's
yeah.
like,
but
come on.
in my earlier 20s, I spent 6 years working for the Department of Forestry. I lived in Alaska, and I worked as a wildland firefighter. And so we would go out, 24 dudes with beers and chainsaws, and we'd go out into the wood for 21 days straight. We lived in tents. Our socks, you could stand your socks up by like day 8 and let them go, and they would just be like, stay crusty. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that I've probably had like crotch rot at least 4 times in my life. Like, I'm tired of hiking. I got a bag on my hips that weighs 80 pounds, right? And like, God, for Vaseline and Gold Bond in your thighs to keep your thighs. Oh man, it's horrible. But every now and then they would fly us out some supplies, and one of them would be like a 6 foot by 6 foot wet nap, and it's called a bath in a bag. And you rip it open, you take that out. It's just like the best shower in the world, you know. Like you're finally getting, like I can finally wash my butt.
Oh,
you know,
man.
it's wild, man. But
That's awesome.
That got old after arthritis crept up on me a little bit.
6 years.
Man.
What's your favorite part about roofing?
My favorite part about roofing, honestly, it's getting to meet different types of people. You know, I enjoy walking on big roofs, and I enjoy, getting really high up and looking around and kind of seeing things and taking photos. But the part I love the most is when I get down and I get to talk to the homeowner, and they're telling me about their 40 years in special forces, retired military, things like that. I get to have conversations with homeowners that have been teachers and plumbers their whole lives, or they work in the oil field, or they're doctors, or they're entrepreneurs, and you just get to know them.
Yeah.
Like you get to ask them questions. One of my favorite things about sales is when I ask questions and I get to know the homeowner, they'll tell you exactly what they want, what their pain points are, what their objections might be if you just listen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of been my favorite part about it is getting to meet and experience life through other people's eyes, and coming to realize, hey, we're all kind of the same. You know what I mean? Like, we all deal with the same crap. It doesn't ever change. Like, this dude's tired of paying his mortgage just like I am. You know what I mean? Like, we have a conversation. Somebody's like, I wish the next Civil War would just start so I could quit making my truck payment. And I'm like, brother, you and me both. Like something, but you get these conversations with people, and you get to know different folks, and you build relationships with them. And that's to me, that's probably the coolest part.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the when going like on a listing appointment and talking to like sellers and things like that. And you go in there and like you put on your calendar like 45 minutes to an hour or something like that.
Yeah.
But then you find that guy that
2 hours, 3 hours.
3 hours in, and you're like, man, you did this, San Antonio. Like, and you start hearing all the old stories of San Antonio and how things and what they were doing, and I remember the guy was a band. He was flying around at Stinson Field and doing all this stuff and everything. It's like, oh man, and you start hearing like what I say, the real stories of San Antonio.
Yeah.
Like we get like the news stories, right?
Sure.
Like in everything with like what's going on with the world and everything. You get the narrative that gets put out there.
Yeah.
But then when you start talking to the people, the individuals, bingo. No, I'm just kidding.
We're gonna close the roofing sale over the phone.
I know I turned that thing off. How does that happen? Oh, it's my wife. That's why she's got immediate access.
Hey, that's the way it's supposed
It's
to be.
gonna ring.
It's gonna ring again, bro. She's got my location. She's gonna be like, "What are you doing at a mortgage office?" I'm buying another house, baby. I'm gonna tell you.
Well, as long as she doesn't start sending you like listings, she goes, "Well, since you're there, I like this house."
Yeah, no kidding. Take it easy. We just got one last year. You know. No, it's weird that you say that, man. I had a client last week. Another real estate agent brought me a client. Hey, I'm representing the sellers, the buyers this time, not the sellers. So they wanted a competent roofer there when the insurance company came out to look at it. So I got an opportunity to meet this young guy. I'm just going to call him AJ for fun, right?
I know him.
And yeah, probably.
Just kidding.
28-year-old guy. He's been in the military here in San Antonio for like 2 or 3 years. You know, he's recently stationed here. And we're sitting down talking after the insurance company came out. They agreed to pay for the roof. We're picking out colors and talking about shingles. And I asked him, I'm like, okay, so where are you going next, man? You got another duty station? Like you're traveling the world, you're doing whatever you're doing. Like, where are you headed? And he said, actually, man, me and my wife of 8 years are going through a divorce. And I got to sell the house. And it kind of, that's not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Right? And so I had to take my roofer hat off for a minute, and I had to be. My employees tell me that there's 2 types of Dave. There's Coach Dave and there's Boss Dave. Mm-hmm. And I had to pull out Coach Dave for a second, and I said, you know, I'm really sorry that you're having to go through that, dude. I know it's a very painful process. When I was in my early 20s, I went through a divorce, and walking through the house afterwards, it felt like there was a ghost. Mm. I couldn't. The smell, I could smell my ex. I could see her coming around the corner. I was waiting for her to knock on the door, right? Like, devastating life event for somebody that's been married for 8 years. And he asked me, he said, was it easy to get over? And I said, you want me to tell you the truth? And he said, yeah. I said, not at all. Mm. And then he asked me, he said, Dave, well, what did you do? Do you have any advice for somebody like me? And I said, I do have some advice for you. And that advice was, I want you to take everything you can about your life that you don't like or you're not satisfied with. And I want you to focus all of your extra time that you have on changing that thing and make yourself into the most weaponized version of a man that you can possibly be. And for the rest of your life, I want you to live every day and make her regret the decision that she made to walk away from this relationship. And he started crying at the table. And he looked up at me and he said, that's what I'm going to do. And
yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about when I say that the interactions with humans, you get a chance to connect with people. It's not about roofing, and it's not about that, but you actually get an opportunity to meet people and hear their real life stories, and you realize these guys are going through, these men and women that we get an opportunity to serve. They're going through something too. They're not always selling their house because they're getting a bigger one. Sometimes they're selling their house because it's fixing to get foreclosed on.
Yep.
You know, and we have an opportunity to be stewards and leaders inside of our community, and that's the best part about that.
And I think that's what kind of makes the difference between people like us and other people that are just in it for the sales part. Like, literally, we could be selling anything.
Yeah.
And it's not about the product.
No.
It's about the people.
Yeah.
And how we take care of them and how we do business in general.
Yeah.
That makes the difference. That's going to be the lifelong customers. That's going to be the lifelong clients, things like that.
Yeah, houses sell themselves, man.
Yeah, and when you're talking about a house, like from every standpoint, you're talking about someone's life. Like if you're talking about a house, there's a lot. It's a life.
Stories. There's
stories.
Christmas. There's Easter.
The reason why I'm in this is because I want to leave something for my kids. Like everything about real estate is about family for me. So and when from an investment standpoint, what we can do for for the community and stuff like that, but like going and talking to individuals, buying and selling, it's like we had a client that, man, so like they didn't think they could buy anything, right? And then we ended up getting them into a brand new home, brand new built everything, and like it's being able to affect lives like that, and like be able to put them in a spot like they see the brightness going forward.
Yeah.
On the sell side, and like, but at the same time, it's like I've been through a couple divorces.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how to do it the first time.
That must be a realtor thing.
No, it's
Not me, hopefully.
It's for me, it's a me thing. It's like
Yeah.
I'll take full blame on the second one.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the first one.
Disclaimer.
But no, it's like, and when I've helped a number of people that have are going through divorce or are about to and stuff like that, and it's like I love working with those guys because I know what they're going through, and it's like, and I honestly I see the good and the bad. Like it sucks to go through divorce. Sometimes it's phenomenal to go through divorce, and like there's and it's I try to teach when I talk to my kids. It's like where I feel like I'm my biggest coach. It goes back to like that stoic philosophy. It's like nothing is good, nothing is bad. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's how we take our mind and we interpret it and and use it. Like with this gentleman, it's like, okay, you can take this as a bad event. It's like and just let it crush you, or you can take it and say, okay, how is this going to transform me into becoming a better person and utilize this?
What's that thing that Tony Robbins says? Life isn't happening
to you, it's happening for you.
For you. Yeah. Bingo.
Absolutely.
Bingo.
And it's crazy because, like, I'm sure everybody can do it. Like, I'm sitting at this table right now across from you.
Yeah.
And it's exactly where we're supposed to be. And there's a reason why we're here. We made a billion decisions coming up to today.
100%.
And we're right here.
That's right.
Which is a cool play. And I'm the first one that knocks on the table.
Yeah, like you got your can of peas story. I've had to borrow money to buy milk for the baby. Like we've all been in these tough situations.
Screw the corporate world. It's like, I'm not doing this. I don't want my kids to live where they have to work in a cubicle.
Yeah.
That's what my driving
I
force
told
is.
one of my newest employees, he was sitting in the truck with me the other day. He's been with us for 2 weeks now. He's got close to $130,000 sitting in the pipe. And at 20 grand a pop, right? Most average roofing systems about $20,000, give or take.
Yeah.
Residential roofs anyways. So he's sitting at $130,000 on the books right now, and he's scheduled to make more than 40 by the end of probably this month. And he was asking me, Dave, do you think I made the right decision walking away from my oil field job? He was making $168K a year in the oil field company truck.
How many fingers does he have?
All of them, right? All of them.
Yeah.
But he was never able to spend the time that he wanted with his family and everything else. And so when we interviewed him, I took him and his wife to lunch. And I said, hey, listen, I'm gonna interview you, but I need to talk to her. Like, that's an important relationship to you, and so that's going to be important to me. And I actually got to ask her, hey, what's important to you? And she's like, I just want to see him win. I want to see him succeed. I want to see him to be happy, and I want him home.
To see him.
Yeah.
I want to see him.
And I was like, okay, Roger, that's the goal. I'm going to focus on getting her what she wants, and you are going to be successful as a byproduct of that. And he was like, dude, I'm in. And when he asked me, Dave, do you think I made the right decision moving away? And I told him, I said, brother, you are exactly where you deserve to be today in life, where you are, the position that you're in, every decision you have made, which could have taken you anywhere in life. Every decision you made got you exactly where you deserve to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Good
It's
or bad. Like if you're not where you don't think you didn't make the phone call.
Hey, there are people sitting in penitentiaries right now, I promise you, are exactly where they deserve to be. You know, and there are people in $1 million, $2 million mansions living their life because that's exactly where they deserve to be.
Yeah.
That goes back to the mindset of abundance and understanding. It's like there's enough out there for everybody. It's like we don't discount them. Don't envy them for what they have. It's like clues are in their success, right? Like you said a couple times. It's like see what they've done.
Yeah.
Emulate them. You don't have to be them.
Yeah.
But use the tactics and the actions that they took.
That's right.
That's what you may not like their personality all the time. Yeah. I don't like LeBron James at all. I say it almost every podcast.
Yeah.
But he put some work ethic in and everything he became.
That.
You got to admire where he's at, you know. But like he's a jerk of a person.
I think that's one of the things a lot of people look at. A lot of people look at it and say, "Oh man, I see this person got here. He just got so lucky. Like he just timed it right. He did that." They don't look at waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning, putting in the work, never being home, whatever it takes to get it done. They don't look at all the other things that it takes to get there.
Yeah.
They just see that little tip of the iceberg that's above the water, and they're like, "Oh man, he just had it so lucky."
I was that person for many years of my life. Many years of my life. I'd look at people that had the things that I want, and I would thought, hey, there's something special that person has that I don't have. And I remember when I was working as a residential electrician 20 years ago, I was, living in Austin, and I was working as an electrician, and my company truck broke down. Ford Metro POS, right? And a little white toaster. And it broke down. The company sent me to Hertz rental car to go pick up a truck, and it was a 2013 brand new Chevy Silverado. And I remember getting in that truck, and I remember seeing the screen in the Apple CarPlay and all this other stuff, and I literally told myself, I'll never own a truck this nice ever in my life. And 2 years ago, I was telling my accountant, he was like, hey, bud, it's time for you to buy a $100,000 vehicle. You need the tax credit, right? And I was like, dude, I've never done that before. And he goes, it's time, right? You can afford it. We got it. I'm looking at the books right now. We need to take it, so on and so forth. And I told him that story, and he was like, I'm so glad you don't think the same way you used to, because you wouldn't be where you're at today if you did.
Yeah, that negative self-talk is so real.
Yeah. And it's real even after success. Like, if I don't know, I struggle with that. Like, coming from not a lot, and then like you have some success, and you're like, oh man, like here's this thing, I'm gonna go buy this.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I don't really want to spend this money on myself. Like, let me just hold off on it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's smart things to spend money on.
But then there's like things like, hey, no, like you had like, if you go buy that $500 pair of boots, whatever that might be, it's not gonna affect you.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of played like, no, I'm not gonna go do that, or I'm not gonna do this. And it's tough to spend money on yourself.
It's hard to let that old person die.
Yeah.
It really can be. And I think that's probably what stops a lot of people from going forward, is they're not willing to kill their old self and allow the new person that they're supposed to be to grow up and to mature and to come into this world. And I think that's probably what most entrepreneurs deal with. I know that's what a lot of fathers deal with. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I know as being a father, yeah.
It's funny because like, as a kid, your parents always told you, it's like, oh man, I don't like you hanging out with that guy. I don't like you hanging out with this guy and stuff like that. And then as we get older, especially as entrepreneurs, and we've gone through all these business coaching and all this everything, and like you are the sum of the 5 closest people to you and stuff like that, right? So it's like now it's like, oh, I want to hang out. Now next day, this guy's so cool. I want to be next to him. It's like, oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I like what you're doing. I want to do something similar. So let's hang out and let's learn from each other and grow together. I mean, I credit, like, Brad's younger than me, and I'm like, I'm gonna hitch my ride to him. It's like, some of it comes from, like, I had a little bit easier in life. Like, my dad was military. We traveled around. I had the perfect middle class lifestyle as a military kid. Always lived in a nice house on base, and always had nice friends on base and stuff like that.
Yeah. And
I think a lot of that didn't have the drive necessarily, because I didn't have to struggle. And like I see like what Brad does, and like with you, and like having peas and carrots and everything like that, and the drive that creates to succeed. But then it also is like, oh, I don't want to spend my money. I mean, I'm going to hold on to this stuff. Yeah. It's awesome. So yeah.
I'm reading this book right now. It's called 10X is Easier Than 2X. I don't know if you've read that one. But in the first chapter, it talked about like the people you're around. Mm-hmm. Like, as you transition your mindset from 2X to 10X, like 2X is just extra work you have to put in to make it happen.
Sure.
But 10X is like, hey, I have to change everything about everything to be able to 10X my lifestyle. I might have to change the people I hang around. I might have to change the activities I do.
Is that why you recommended that book to me today?
Filtering all that stuff out. And that kind of goes back to the same thing, is the people that got us to where we are now might not be the people that are going to take us to where we're going.
For sure.
And there's seasons in life to where that's when those people were in those seasons.
That, I think, is probably the hardest part about personal growth, is understanding that you're going to outgrow some relationships. Mm-hmm. I've outgrown, friendships. I've outgrown relationships with some of my own family members.
Same.
Just because the mindset's not the same, the wills, the desires, what they want, what they think I'm capable of, and what I now know that I'm capable of.
They see the old you, right? They still want to see the old you sometimes, and it's like, that's not me.
Yeah, can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So as we wrap it up, we always ask a few questions. First, what's your favorite taco restaurant here in San Antonio?
It's not Torchy's Tacos. That's
Austin
that is the great value brand of tacos.
Yeah, that's
the great value brand. I like it.
Yeah, it's the great value brand of tacos, man. It's gonna be West Ave or Eric's for me, bro. Either Eric's Tacos or Taquitos West Ave.
Like it, see, coming in strong with
Real
some puro San Antonio. Like
That's right.
I got straight. He already has it. Like we've had us a couple of like, oh, I got to think about it. It's like, and we've had someone say Bill Miller's Carnegie Sada.
Yeah.
Or Taco Cabana. And I'm
No,
like,
sir.
Come on,
No, sir.
that's the most whitewashed
They
taco
said
I've ever seen in my life.
Palapas gets harder than Taco Cabana does, you know, but you're still,
At least you can get a
man,
margarita in the
that's-
best thing from COVID, getting a margarita in the drive-through.
Yeah.
And taking it home.
Yeah,
And
thanks, Greg Abbott.
we know you're watching.
What's his name on his way to Cancun?
Ted Cruz,
Ted
yeah,
Cruz.
he's going to get real tacos.
Tacos burger. What about your burger place? Do you have a go-to burger place?
Whataburger, man. Yeah.
That's okay.
Have you been to Mr. Juicy yet?
See, he always wants to bring up Mr. G, but I'll say Whataburger. The problem with Whataburger is it's gone downhill from when they went corporate.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pump up Burger Boy because I feel like they're the only true San Antonio burger place like that.
Yeah.
Like
Now,
chain.
okay.
Chain. But
Okay.
Mr.
So
Juicy,
if
though.
we're talking about not a chain, Sam's.
Sam's Burger
Sam's
Joint?
Burger Joint?
Sam's Burger
Yeah,
Joint.
yeah.
Bro, there's so much history when you walk in there and you see the musicians and the artists and the actors and the people that have come
Yeah.
to Sam's Burger Joint. That's a cool place.
Yeah, it is.
People
a cool place.
and people forget about it sometimes, but it's always rocking.
Yeah.
Like they got some great shows coming through there. That's a good place.
That is a real good place. So if anybody's watching this that wants to get their roof checked out, how do they contact you?
Well, first and foremost, you can find us on Google. We are the top-ranked organic search result if you Google roofing in Timberwood Park. That's pretty cool.
That's
so if
awesome.
you live in
Yeah.
78258, type in the word roofer, and boop, A5 Roofing's right at the top. You can search us on the internet at a5roof.com. Or on my Instagram or my Facebook. I get a lot of homeowners there. If you type in the roof poppy, there you go.
The Roof Poppy. I like
the
it.
roof poppy. Yeah.
He's basically the Drake of roofing.
Yes. Sir.
Yeah.
Well, as long as Kendrick Lamar of Roofing doesn't come in here, he'll be fine.
I don't think so. I don't think they're gonna do that. Like P Diddy roofing.
Hey, did he?
Diddy roofing.
More than the nails getting pounded.
It's cool.
Be a yellow slate.
Yeah,
Roof.
That's right.
The,
Cool. Do us a favor, hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Peace, guys.